Hello again YouTube, it's me, Prometea again. Today's video is not very easy to make, actually. It's something that I've been meaning to talk about for weeks, and it has been very difficult. It's the massacre that happened in Orlando. And I've been watching the responses from the media and from regular population on social media and stuff, and it has been really disheartening because they are overlooking some very important facts when considering this. The media has been very quick to label this as an attack against all of America, purposely ignoring the fact that they were queer people that died in the air. It's very convenient. They of course say it in a very idealistic way, like, oh, it doesn't matter to us that they were gay. But no, it matters that they were gay. It wouldn't have been the same if this had been an attack on a synagogue, or, like when there was an active shooting in a Sikh temple. They didn't say back then, oh, it was against all of us. It's very convenient for them to do that, because if you ignore the fact that it was queer people being killed, then you take the focus of the discussion away from the real causes. Like the Democrats now, who have been promoting some gun control laws. Of course, those initiatives didn't go anywhere thanks to the Republicans and the gun lobby, which is something that I still don't understand why that is allowed. It's like the only country where bribes are allowed to happen so openly and accepted as a normal part of the functioning of the government. But the laws themselves were not good. They're focused on the no-fly list because this guy happened to be in that list. But of all the mass shootings that the US has suffered in the last few years, most of the people responsible were not in the no-fly list. And no, they weren't Muslim and they weren't terrorists either. They were just regular, violent people who were allowed to buy guns that they shouldn't have been able to. Like this guy, he had a record of domestic violence. He could have been stopped the moment that he decided to put a hand on his wife. But he wasn't. Like most men who beat on their wives are not stopped. And that is part of the problem. And that is why intersectionality is needed. Because we cannot talk about queer rights without talking about women's rights, without talking about the rights of the people of color. Our struggles may have some differences, but they are connected, they are intertwined. The violence, the oppression, the oppressors are the same. The US needs better gun control. Fuck, you don't need guns at all. Owning a device that's built with the sole purpose of killing people and saying that is not what you want it for is not an inherent right. Healthcare is an inherent right, and yet you don't treat it that way. The Second Amendment is not there to protect your right to run around your backyard playing G.I. Joe. The intention of the Second Amendment is to have a well-organized militia. A well-organized militia, like the National Guard, which you already have. And I'm pretty sure that most, if not all, of these pro-gun people are not registered in the National Guard. But again, this is being looked at as a terrorist attack. This was not a terrorist attack. It was a hate crime, and it wasn't a religious crime. They say he was a radicalized Muslim. That's bullshit. He was as much of a radicalized Muslim as, that kid, middle-class teenager kid that claims to be punk. Oh, so you like punk rock? Yeah, punk rock, dude. And you're a punk? Yeah, totally punk. And who's your favorite band? Metallica, dude. He said he was with ISIS, yes, but he also said he was with Al-Qaeda and with Hezbollah, which are mortal enemies of each other. And ISIS claimed responsibility of the attack? Well, of course they did. It's the Art of War 101. War is based on deception. If you're close to your enemy, make them believe you're far away. If you're far from your enemy, make them believe you're close. It's what they do. ISIS is a very small group, not a worldwide network. They will claim responsibility over any attack or explosion, even accidental explosions. As soon as they hear the news, they will just wait for a few hours, and if nobody else calls it in, they will. This guy had no idea what ISIS, Al-Qaeda or Hezbollah stood for. The only thing he knew was that they were Muslim and they were queerphobic. And that's where the real cause of the massacre is. It was not a religious crime. It was a queerphobic crime, a hate crime, a self-hate crime. It has already been proved that this guy was either gay or bi himself. He was a regular at posts. He would go there often and get drunk. Get drunk, the thing that Muslims are not supposed to be, and yet you insist on saying that he did this because he was a Muslim. He was taught that being gay or being bisexual was wrong. He grew to hate that part of himself that he couldn't change, and he would have grabbed any ideology that would give him the hope of getting rid of that part of himself that he hated. He was desperate because he was raised in a queerphobic environment, and I'm talking beyond his family. It's the United States. Don't go all self-righteous now saying only Muslims can be queerphobic because you heard that somebody read a piece of the Quran where it said something against gay people. Because no, it's not just that. The majority of the population in the United States still opposes the rights of queer folk. And it's not just Muslims. The majority are Christians. But you don't even need religion for this. The United States is a country where, with the exception of a few areas, queer people cannot feel safe. They are constantly harassed, they suffer violence, they are bombarded constantly with the idea that they are freaks, that they are not normal, that they do not have the same rights, the same worth as a straight cisgender person. That there is something wrong with them, that they don't deserve the same. When you keep repeating that to someone, they will eventually believe it. And that's what happened here. That's why this guy got so upset when he saw two people that were able to say, fuck it, and still walked around holding hands. And he decided to kill 49 people because that reminded him of who he was. This needs to change. And if you're going to comment here saying, oh, I'm religious and I'm not like that, we have gotten to the point where you need to take a stand. Do not deceive yourself. If you're religious and you're not queerphobic, look around you. Are you really an accurate sample of your whole religion or even your congregation? Go to your temple, go to your mosque, go to your church, your synagogue, your whatever, and ask your priest, your pastor, your rabbi, your guru, your imam, what their position is on queer rights and what the community is going to do about it. Ask yourself if you want to keep funding that place, if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be promoting the ideas that they promote. Ask yourself if you still want to be there. Because you need to take a stance now. This needs to stop.